Yo, stop scrolling right now, because what I'm about to tell you is going to blow your mind into a million pieces. Drake didn't just lose the beef with Kendrick Lamar, he was sabotaged, betrayed, set up like a lamb to the slaughter. And the person who knew about the execution? J. Cole. The same man Drake called his brother just watched him walk into a death trap and said nothing. We're not talking about rap beef anymore, people. This is espionage. This is Game of Thrones. This is a calculated assassination orchestrated in the shadows. And somebody just leaked the smoking gun that changes everything. The internet is exploding right now because the truth about a secret phone call between Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole has surfaced. And when you hear what was allegedly said, you're going to lose your mind. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is receipts. This is evidence. This is the betrayal of the century. For months, they fed us a fairy tale. They told us J. Cole apologized because his spirit didn't feel right. They showed us the Dreamville Fest footage. Cole looking all humble and peaceful, talking about how he needed to protect his energy and walk away from the beef. And we bought it. We called him soft. We called him the weakest of the big three. We said he couldn't handle the pressure. The memes flooded in. J-Fold, they called him. The internet roasted this man into oblivion. But now we know the apology was a lie, a cover story, a carefully constructed escape plan. Because what if I told you J. Cole didn't apologize because of peace? What if I told you he apologized because he saw something so dark, so disturbing, so catastrophic that he had to ghost Drake completely and run for his life? Mal. Yes, Mal from the Rory and Mal podcast, the man with direct lines to OVO, the man who allegedly gets late-night texts from Drake himself, just dropped an atomic bomb on the internet that has everyone spiraling into madness. He claims J. Cole had a secret, mysterious conversation with Kendrick Lamar before the war even started. And whatever Kendrick told him, whatever Kendrick showed him, was so devastating that Cole cut off all communication with Drake and never spoke to him again. Not a single word. Alright, buckle up, because we're about to enter the evidence chamber, and what you're about to hear is going to make your skin crawl. Let's establish who Mal is, because this matters. Mal isn't some random internet blogger clout chasing for views. This man is embedded in OVO. He's been defending Drake through the entire beef. He's the guy who allegedly has Drake on speed dial. So when Mal, of all people, drops a bomb this big, you know it's real. Here's what Mal said, and I want you to listen carefully because every word is a dagger. J. Cole better explain why he had that mysterious, secretive conversation with Kendrick Lamar and then never spoke to Drake after that in his life. In his life. That's not they had a falling out. That's not they're taking a break. That's finality. That's a death sentence for a friendship. That's you are dead to me energy. Now, let's talk timeline, because this is where it gets scary. J. Cole and Drake were tight. They just dropped First Person Shooter together, Drake's first #1 record as a lead artist. They were on tour together. They were calling each other brothers. The big three was unified. And then the phone call. After that alleged conversation with Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole vanished from Drake's life like a ghost. No texts, no calls, no public support, nothing. It's like Drake became radioactive overnight and J. Cole put on a hazmat suit and ran. But why? What could Kendrick have possibly said or shown Cole to make him abandon his brother in the middle of a war? The internet has become a detective agency on this one. People are scrubbing through old footage. They're analyzing body language. They're cross-referencing dates. And they found something chilling. Go back and watch that Dreamville Fest apology. Don't just listen to Cole's words, watch his face. That man doesn't look peaceful. He looks shaken. He looks like someone who just watched a horror movie and can't unsee what he saw. His hands are trembling slightly. His voice cracks at certain points. He keeps looking down like he's trying to avoid eye contact with the truth. That's not a man who found peace. That's a man who found out he was standing next to a monster and barely escaped. And here's where it gets nuclear. The evidence theory. Rumor has it, and these rumors are coming from multiple sources now, that Kendrick Lamar didn't just tell J. Cole about Drake's alleged crimes, he showed him. Think about it. Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams with specific details, pictures of prescriptions, addresses, names. That wasn't just rap, that was a federal case presented in song form. What if Kendrick called J. Cole and said, "Look, Mal, I respect you. We're not enemies, but I need you to see something before this goes public. I need you to know who you're standing next to." And then he sends the photos. He plays the audio recordings. He shows the receipts that would later become Meet the Grams and Not Like Us. Can you imagine the horror on J. Cole's face? The man who built his entire brand on being conscious, being moral, being the good guy in hip-hop. Finding out he's been promoting and defending someone allegedly involved in unspeakable things. That's not just beef, that's a moral crisis. That's an existential nightmare. And the timeline supports it. Let's break it down. March 2024, first-person shooter is dominating. Drake and Cole are brothers. April 2024, 7-minute drill drops. Cole enters the beef swinging. April 5, 2024, Cole deletes 7-minute drill and apologizes at Dreamville Fest. April through May, Kendrick obliterates Drake with Euphoria, 616 in LA, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us. April to present, J. Cole and Drake have zero contact, complete silence. And now here's the smoking gun. Mal isn't just saying they drifted apart, he's saying they never spoke again. That implies something catastrophic happened, something unforgivable. And Mal's co-hosts, they panic when he says this. You can hear it in their voices. People do not know that. You do know people do not know that Drake and Cole have not spoken. That's genuine shock. That's people realizing a secret just got exposed on air, a secret that was supposed to stay buried in the Hollywood Hills. They press him. Did you talk to Cole? Did you talk to Drake? What's your source? And Mal gets cagey. He gets defensive. I'm not saying I don't know what was spoken about. That double negative, he knows. He knows exactly what was said on that phone call. And the fact that he's baiting J. Cole to tell the world means what was said is so explosive, so legally dangerous that even Mal, the man with the loosest lips in hip-hop media, is afraid to say it himself. He wants Cole to pull the trigger. He wants Cole to confirm it, because if Mal says it, he gets sued. He loses his access. But if Cole says it, it becomes gospel truth. Now let's talk about the motive, because this is where everything starts clicking together like a horror movie reveal. And you're gonna realize Kendrick Lamar isn't just a rapper, he's a military strategist. Why would Kendrick call J. Cole? Why would he give him a warning? Because Kendrick Lamar is smart. He's calculated. He doesn't make reckless moves. Every step is planned. Every word is intentional. Kendrick knows the history between him and Cole. These two have mutual respect. The rumored collab album that never happened. The subtle shoutouts over the years. They're not enemies, they're peers. Kendrick respects J. Cole's integrity. He respects that Cole built his career on being the conscious rapper, the moral center of hip-hop. So Kendrick has a choice to make. Option 1, drop the nuclear bomb on Drake without warning and let J. Cole become collateral damage. Let Cole get burned by the fallout. Let Cole's reputation get destroyed for standing next to a man allegedly involved in horrific activities. Or option 2, make a call. Give Cole an out. Show him the truth and let him make an informed decision. And Kendrick chose option 2, not because he's nice, but because he's strategic. See, Kendrick doesn't want to fight a two-front war. He doesn't want to battle both Drake and J. Cole at the same time. That splits his focus. That divides the narrative. But if he can get J. Cole to step aside, if he can isolate Drake, then it's a one-on-one execution. And we all saw how that turned out. So Kendrick picks up the phone or sends the DM or arranges the meeting, and he says, "Cole, we've always been cool. I respect you. But you need to see something. You need to know who you're standing next to. Look at these photos, listen to these recordings, read these documents. This is what I'm about to expose to the world. Now ask yourself, do you want your name attached to this? Do you want your legacy tied to his?" Can you imagine the weight of that moment? The gravity? J. Cole is sitting there, phone in hand, or maybe in a hotel room looking at a laptop, and he's seeing evidence that turns his stomach. His mind is racing. He's thinking about his family, his reputation, his fans, everything he built. And he realizes if I stay in this beef, if I keep defending Drake, I'm going down with the ship. That's not rap beef anymore. That's a moral dilemma. That's a life or death decision for his career. So what does Cole do? He makes the smartest move of his life. He deletes 7 Minute Drill. He gets on stage at Dreamville Fest and he apologizes not to Kendrick, but to the universe for almost making the biggest mistake of his career. And then what? Radio silence toward Drake. No phone calls, no texts, no "yo good bro" check-ins, nothing. Because Cole knows if I talk to Drake, he's gonna ask questions. He's gonna want to know why I left, and I can't tell him. Because if I tell him what Kendrick showed me, I become a witness. I become involved. I become legally compromised. So the safest move? Ghost him. Cut all ties. Pretend the friendship never existed. And that's exactly what happened. Now, let's talk about Drake's perspective, because this is where it gets heartbreaking and terrifying at the same time. Imagine you're Drake. You just dropped a monster collab with your boy J. Cole. You're on top of the world. The big three is unified. Then Kendrick starts shooting, and you look to your left expecting to see your brother ready to go to war with you, but he's gone. Just vanished. You're texting him, "Yo, you hear this guy? We gotta respond." Delivered, no read receipt. You're calling him, straight to voicemail. You're DMing him on Instagram, seen, but no reply. And then you watch him apologize to Kendrick on a public stage and delete his diss track. That's not just betrayal, that's abandonment. That's your brother leaving you on the battlefield to die alone. The paranoia that must have set in, Drake is looking around thinking, what does Cole know that I don't? What did Kendrick tell him? Is everyone in on this? And that isolation, that loneliness, that's psychological warfare. Kendrick didn't just beat Drake in rap, he beat him mentally. He turned Drake's friend into a ghost. He made Drake question everything and everyone around him. That's Sun Tzu level strategy. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. And Kendrick did exactly that by removing Drake's biggest ally before the first shot was even fired. But let's take a step back from the strategy and the conspiracy and talk about the human element, because this part is gonna hit you right in the chest. Forget the bars, forget the streams, forget the charts. Let's talk about betrayal. Let's talk about heartbreak. Let's talk about what it feels like to lose your brother. Imagine being J. Cole. You just spent months on tour with Drake. You shared stages, you shared private moments, you probably shared personal stories backstage that nobody else will ever hear. You thought you were building a legacy together. You thought the big three was going to change hip-hop forever. And then you get that phone call from Kendrick, and everything you thought you knew shatters. The man you called your brother, he's not who you thought he was. The man you defended in interviews, he's allegedly involved in things that make your skin crawl. That's not just a business decision to step away. That's an emotional crisis. That's grief. You're grieving the death of a friendship. You're grieving the loss of your innocence in the game. You're grieving the fantasy that you could trust anyone in this industry. Go back and watch the Dreamville apology with this context. Cole says, "My spirit has been disturbed." We thought he meant he couldn't sleep because of the competition. We thought he was just being soft. But now we understand. His spirit was disturbed because he saw evil, he saw darkness, and he realized he was inches away from being consumed by it. That's trauma. That's PTSD. That's a man who looked into the abyss and the abyss looked back. And for Drake, man, the loneliness of that moment. You reach out to the one guy who's supposed to be neutral, the one guy who's supposed to understand the pressure of the crown, the one guy you thought would ride or die, and he blocks you. That's not rap beef. That's soul-crushing rejection. That's the industry telling you you're on your own. No wonder Drake has been moving erratically ever since. No wonder he's been flooding the market with music and features and guest verses. He's trying to fill the void. He's trying to prove he doesn't need anyone. But you can hear the loneliness in his recent tracks. You can hear the paranoia. He's rapping about people switching up, about fake friends, about being alone at the top. Because he is alone. His brother abandoned him. And the fans, we abandoned him too. We watched the execution and we cheered. We made memes. We streamed Not Like Us into the stratosphere. And somewhere in a Toronto mansion, Drake is sitting in the dark, phone in hand, scrolling through old texts with J. Cole, wondering where did it all go wrong. That's the human story nobody's talking about. That's the emotional wreckage of the biggest beef in hip-hop history.
Now, J. Cole did break his silence, kind of. He dropped Port Antonio out of nowhere, and if you thought that song was just a casual update, you need to listen again with this new information because it hits completely different. First of all, the rollout was strange. He drops it on a random YouTube channel? He personally clears the sample himself? No major label push, no announcement? That's not how you drop a single, that's how you drop a confession. Now let's dissect the lyrics because every bar is a clue. I pulled the plug because I seen where that was about to go. Seen, past tense. He saw it. He didn't guess. He didn't assume. He saw the future because Kendrick showed him the evidence. Protect my legacy. Legacy from what? From losing a rap battle? No, from being associated with someone allegedly involved in criminal activity? I had to step back. Not I wanted to, not I chose to, I had to. That's survival language. That's I had no choice. And then Drake likes the post. The internet went crazy. Oh, they're cool again. Drake supports him. But hold on. If Mal is right and they haven't spoken since the phone call, that like isn't a handshake. It's a message. It's Drake saying, I see you. I see you protecting yourself while I burned. Or maybe it's Drake saying, you saved yourself. Smart move. I would have done the same. It's a silent conversation between two people who can no longer exist in the same room. It's communication across the abyss. And Mal's co-hosts, they were freaking out when Mal dropped the bomb. You can hear the panic in their voices. People do not know that. You need to be careful. That's the sound of people realizing a secret just got exposed, a secret that could reignite the entire war. They ask Mal, what's your source? Did you talk to Cole? Did you talk to Drake? And Mal gets defensive. I'm not saying I don't know what was spoken about. He knows. He knows exactly what Kendrick told Cole, and he's begging Cole to tell the world because he can't say it himself without facing legal consequences. That's a journalist protecting his sources while trying to push the truth into the light. But why is Mal doing this? Is he trying to expose Cole, or is he trying to defend Drake by showing the world that Drake was betrayed? Or is Drake using Mal as a puppet? Is this Drake's way of saying to Cole, tell them what happened or I'll have my guy leak it? It's psychological warfare on a global scale, and we're just watching it unfold in real time like a Netflix thriller.
But wait, it gets deeper, because this isn't happening in a vacuum. This fits a pattern of betrayal and isolation that's been haunting Drake for the last 2 years. Let me take you down the rabbit hole. Remember the rumors about the secret summit? Word on the street is that back in March, before the beef went public, Universal Music Group was panicking. They had their two biggest cash cows, Drake and Kendrick, about to destroy each other and tank the value of their catalogs. We're talking billions of dollars at stake. So allegedly, the label tried to intervene. They arranged a meeting, maybe a Zoom call, maybe an in-person sit-down to try to squash the beef before it went nuclear. And it went left immediately. Some insiders say Drake showed up with an attitude. He wasn't trying to hear anything. He was ready for war. Kendrick, on the other hand, was cold, calculated. He allegedly had a folder ready, a whole dossier of evidence. If J. Cole was part of that meeting, if he saw the folder, if he saw Drake's arrogance up close and Kendrick's cold, calculated hatred, that could have been the moment. The catalyst that made Cole say, "I'm out." And let's not forget the A$AP Rocky angle. A$AP allegedly said, I think it was on Drink Champs or in an interview with academics, the clips are everywhere, that Drake used J. Cole as a crash test dummy. How? By letting Cole drop 7-minute drill knowing full well that he, Drake, had a red button that was going to escalate things to a place Cole couldn't follow. Basically, Drake sent Cole out first to gauge Kendrick's response. You go ahead, see what happens. If it gets too hot, I'll step in. But Cole got nuked and Drake just watched. If Kendrick told Cole this on the phone, hey, Drake is using you. He knows I have this dirt. He's sending you out to die so he can see what I do. That's the ultimate betrayal. That's et tu brute levels of backstabbing. That's your brother using you as a human shield. No wonder Cole deleted the track. No wonder he ghosted Drake. He realized he was a pawn in a game he didn't even know he was playing. And the fans? Oh man, the fans are going insane. The J. Cole subreddits are on fire. They're decoding every line of the Fall Off previews. They're analyzing his features. They're looking at his body language in interviews. Remember the Thames feature? Freefall. People are saying that verse is about Drake now. I was focusing on the climb, you was focusing on the fall. It all sounds different now. It all sounds like a man who narrowly escaped a burning building and is warning others not to go inside. This is the narrative that keeps expanding. We're not just looking at beef anymore, we're looking at a masterful game of chess where J. Cole realized he was just a pawn and flipped the board before he got taken. Now let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture, because this story has implications that go way beyond just one phone call or one beef. What we're witnessing is the complete disintegration of trust in the music industry. The question that's haunting everyone right now is, in the age of receipts, leaks, and viral allegations, can you afford to be loyal? J. Cole built his entire brand on loyalty, on being real, on having no role models, on staying true. But when the real gets too real, when the allegations cross the line from rap beef to criminal behavior, loyalty becomes a liability. If Cole stays, he goes down with the ship. His legacy gets destroyed. His brand gets tainted. His fans turn on him. If he leaves, he's called a traitor. He's called soft. He's called a coward. There was no winning move for him except to disappear. And that's exactly what he did. This is a warning to every other artist in the game right now. Watch who you stand next to. Watch who you co-sign. Watch who you call your friend. Because you don't know what skeletons are in their closet, and you don't know who has the key to that closet. Kendrick Lamar showed us that information is the ultimate weapon. Not bars, not beats, not streams. Information. He had a dossier, he had receipts, he had evidence, and he used it like a sniper uses a rifle. One shot, one kill. And J. Cole showed us that silence is the ultimate defense. He didn't argue, he didn't explain, he didn't make excuses, he just vanished. And in doing so, he protected his legacy. We're witnessing a shift in how hip-hop operates. It's no longer about who's the best rapper, it's about who has the best dirt. And that's a dangerous, toxic place for the culture to be. If the big three can't even speak to each other, if the biggest stars in the world are moving like intelligence agencies with spy networks and secret dossiers, what does that say about the state of the art form? It says we're in a Cold War, and winter is just getting started. Hip-hop used to be about expression, about truth, about community. Now, it's about survival. It's about who can expose who first. It's about who has the most ammunition. And the casualties? Friendships, legacies, trust. The big three is dead. That dream is over, and we watched it die in real time. So where does this leave us? And more importantly, what happens next? Drake is allegedly alone, blocked by the man he called his brother. He's moving in silence, dropping features, trying to rebuild his empire one verse at a time. Kendrick is victorious, sitting on a throne built on secrets and receipts. He won the battle, he won the war, and he did it without even breaking a sweat. and J. Cole is in the shadows, working on the fall-off, holding on to a secret that could reignite the entire war and blow up the internet. But here's the million-dollar question. What happens if Cole talks? What happens if he gets on a track or does an interview and confirms everything? What if he says, yes, Kendrick called me, yes, he showed me evidence, yes, I saw things that made me sick, and yes, that's why I left? That would be the end of Drake. That would be confirmation. That would be the final nail in the coffin. The internet would explode, servers would crash, the media would go into a frenzy. And what if there's a recording? What if that phone call between Kendrick and J. Cole was recorded? Imagine hearing Kendrick's voice on a grainy audio file, calmly explaining to J. Cole exactly what Drake allegedly did. Imagine hearing Cole's reaction, the shock, the disbelief. That would be the biggest leak in hip-hop history. That would end the debate forever. And don't think for a second that Drake doesn't know this. Why do you think he's moving the way he is? Why is he flooding the market with content? Why is he doing features with everyone? He's trying to bury the silence. He's trying to make enough noise so we don't hear the quiet coming from J. Cole's camp. But the silence is deafening. And Mal is the wild card. Is he a pawn too? Is Drake using him to threaten Cole? Talk or I'll have my guy leak everything? Or is Mal acting on his own, trying to be the journalist who breaks the biggest story of the decade? It's psychological warfare on a global scale, and we're all caught in the crossfire. And honestly, it's terrifying. Because if the rumors are true, if the reason for the silence is as dark as we think, then we haven't even seen the bottom of this rabbit hole yet. We're just scratching the surface. The iceberg is still underwater, and when it fully emerges, the whole industry is going to sink. Listen to me very carefully, because this story is far from over. More details are dropping every single day. More insiders are whispering. More leaks are coming. And reports are saying that J. Cole's album, The Fall Off, is going to address everything. That means we could be weeks away from the biggest revelation in hip-hop history. So I need you to drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I need to know where you stand on this. Do you believe Mal? Do you think Kendrick played Cole the evidence? Or do you think this is all an elaborate marketing scheme to generate hype for The Fall Off? And here's the biggest question of all. Is J. Cole a traitor for ghosting Drake? Or is he the smartest man in the room for getting out of the way? Let me know in the comments. We're going to be debating this all night down there. And listen, smash that like button right now. It helps the algorithm push this truth out to more people who need to hear it. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications, because if that phone call leaks, if Cole responds, or if Drake completely crashes out and goes nuclear, we are going to be the first ones covering it live. I appreciate you for rocking with me through this journey. This isn't just entertainment. This is history unfolding in real time. We are witnesses to the destruction of the Big Three. Don't blink, don't look away, because the next bomb could drop at any moment. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay dangerous, and for the love of God, watch who you answer the phone for. Peace.